The city skyline glowed under the late afternoon sun, golden light glinting off the glass towers. I walked past the busy streets of New York with a calmness that belied the storm inside me. My fiancée, Sophie, once untouchable, the so-called Ice Queen, had ended us abruptly. No explanations, no final words, just gone. I had thought I'd never recover. I had told myself over and over, "Goodbye, Sophie, goodbye to everything we had." Yet, as I passed the cafe where we had first met, my chest tightened. Memories clung to me like smoke, her laughter echoing over soft piano music, the way her hair caught the light when she smiled, her cold hand in mine that somehow felt like home. I shook my head. "Don't look back, Ethan." That evening, my apartment was quiet, too quiet. I poured myself a glass of whiskey, the amber liquid catching the lamplight. I was almost grateful for the solitude. Almost. Then my phone buzzed. A message from her. "Sophie, I saw you today. You looked different." I froze, my pulse quickened. She had been the Ice Queen, distant, untouchable. Now, even after leaving me, she was watching. I typed carefully. "Ethan, we're done. Don't text me." Her reply was almost immediate. "Sophie, you left me. How could you? You don't understand what I feel." I felt a flicker of something I hadn't expected. Guilt, anger, desire. Sophie had always had a way of stirring emotions I didn't know I still had. 2 weeks later, our paths collided at a charity gala. I was wearing my tailored navy suit, glass of wine in hand, pretending indifference. Sophie appeared across the room, wrapped in a silver gown that shimmered under the chandeliers. Her eyes met mine, and the coldness was gone, replaced with something obsessive, almost desperate. "Ethan," she said, stepping closer. Her voice was low, soft, but it carried the weight of her desire to reach me. "I told you, Sophie. We're done," I said, my voice firm but my heart betraying me. "You don't know what you've done to me," she whispered, placing a hand lightly on my arm. Too close, too intimate, too dangerous. I pulled back. "Then leave me alone, please." That night, sleep eluded me. I stared at the ceiling, thinking of every memory, every laugh, every argument. I realized it wasn't just heartbreak I felt, it was betrayal. The betrayal wasn't that she left me. It was that she was the first person I had ever trusted completely, and she had discarded it like a broken vase. But there was something more, something dangerous. A part of me still longed for her touch, still wanted to see her smile. A week later, I received an anonymous package at my apartment. Inside, a single photograph of Sophie, taken from outside my building. Her eyes, dark and intense, seemed to say, "You can't escape me." I slammed the photo down, heart racing. This was no longer just heartbreak, it was obsession. And for reasons I couldn't understand, part of me wanted it. The chapter closes with me standing on my balcony, staring at the city lights, whispering into the cold night. "Goodbye, Sophie, for real this time." But deep down, I knew it wouldn't be the last goodbye. The morning sunlight spilled into my apartment, but it did nothing to lighten the heaviness in my chest. I hadn't slept well. Sophie's message from the night before still lingered like a shadow. "Sophie, I know where you'll be tonight." I clenched my fists, the paper-thin calm I'd tried to maintain for weeks crumbling. Obsessed. That was the word that fit her now, but underneath it, I felt a dangerous pull I couldn't ignore. At work, my office felt suffocating. I stared out at the streets below, where people bustled along their lives, unaware of the emotional war raging inside me. My assistant knocked softly. "Ethan, there's someone here to see you. She insists it's urgent." I turned, the last person I expected. Sophie in a black blazer, hair perfectly styled, standing confidently in the doorway. She wasn't here to apologize, oh no, she was here to stake her claim. "Sophie," I said, voice carefully neutral, "this isn't a good time." She smiled, a dangerous curve of her lips. "When is a good time for truth, Ethan?" I ran a hand through my hair, exasperated. "You left me. You don't get to demand anything now." Her gaze softened for a fraction of a second, enough to make my chest tighten. I know leaving was wrong, but I didn't leave because I stopped caring. I left because I needed to understand what you mean to me." Her words were a dagger wrapped in silk. I wanted to believe her, but the betrayal still burned. Later that evening, I walked alone through Central Park, trying to clear my mind. Autumn leaves crunched underfoot, and the city's distant hum felt like a heartbeat I could almost sync with. Then, she appeared, unexpected, as if she had materialized from the air itself. "Ethan," her voice was soft but insistent. I stopped. "Sophie, You never even gave me a chance to explain," she interrupted, eyes glimmering. "You just walked away." I swallowed hard. Her obsession had evolved into something almost tender, almost vulnerable. But I couldn't forget the nights I'd cried, alone, thinking I'd lost her forever. "I walked away because I had to survive," I said quietly. "Because I couldn't lose myself in someone who doesn't know how to stay." Tears threatened her composure, and I saw the first cracks in her Ice Queen armor. "Then don't leave me again," she whispered. That night, as I returned home, my thoughts spiraled. I hated that I still wanted her. I hated that every memory made my chest ache. And yet, a part of me wondered if this obsession, this dangerous pull between us, was the only way we'd ever survive together. Because maybe, just maybe, we were broken in the same way, and only each other could make us whole. Rain tapped softly against my apartment window, mirroring the storm inside me. I sat at my desk, absent-mindedly tracing the rim of my coffee cup, when my phone buzzed. "Sophie, meet me at the gallery. I need to see you." I hesitated. Part of me screamed to ignore her, to let the past remain buried. But another part, a dangerous, insatiable part, felt compelled to go. The gallery was dim, the soft golden lights casting long shadows across the paintings. Sophie was already there, leaning against a sculpture, eyes fixed on me the moment I entered. "Ethan," she said, her voice soft but firm, "I wanted you to see something." She led me to a painting I immediately recognized. A portrait of us, from a night we'd spent laughing under the city lights, rendered in vivid oil strokes. "You painted this?" I asked, incredulous. "Yes," she said simply. "I couldn't stop thinking about us." Her confession sent a jolt through me, but before I could respond, my phone vibrated again. A message from an unknown number. "Anonymous. Ethan, she's lying. Don't trust her." I frowned. My heart pounded in my chest. Betrayal. Who could be trying to interfere, and why now? Sophie noticed my unease. "Ethan, what's wrong?" I bit back my words. I didn't want to accuse her. She had already been through enough, but doubt gnawed at me. Someone's trying to warn me about you." She looked taken aback, hurt flashing across her features. "You think I'd lie to you?" I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But fear and betrayal had a stubborn grip on me. That night I walked home alone, rain soaking through my coat. My mind replayed the day over and over. Was she truly obsessed with me, or was this all an illusion? I remembered the gallery, her eyes pleading, the vulnerability she rarely showed. And then I remembered the anonymous message. My chest tightened. Betrayal had found its way into our fragile bond. Days passed in a blur of tension. Sophie didn't leave me alone. She showed up at my office, outside my apartment, even at my favorite coffee shop. Her obsession was undeniable, but I couldn't shake the shadow of doubt that had been planted. Finally, I confronted her. "Sophie, what's going on? Who is trying to warn me? What aren't you telling me?" Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "Ethan, I would never hurt you. I only want to fix us. Can't you see that?" Her words, desperate and raw, cut through my anger. I wanted to hug her, to hold her and never let go, but the shadow of betrayal lingered, whispering, "Trust is fragile. Once broken, it's never the same." That night I sat on my balcony, rain dripping from the eaves. I whispered to the empty night, "I don't know if I can trust her, or myself." But even as I said it, I knew something undeniable. My heart would never let me walk away. Not entirely, not ever. Thunder rolled over the city, a distant drum echoing the turmoil in my chest. I stood by my apartment window, watching the rain streak down the glass. Every drop seemed to mirror the memories I couldn't escape. Her smile, her cold hand in mine, the laughter that had once filled my life. Then my phone buzzed. One message. "Sophie, I can't stop thinking about you. Meet me." My first instinct was to ignore it. My second was to go. Something about her words, the way they always managed to pierce my defenses, drew me out into the storm. I found her in the deserted rooftop garden of my building, rain soaking her hair, her coat clinging to her slender frame. She turned as I approached, eyes wide, almost desperate. "Ethan," she whispered. Her voice was trembling, vulnerable in a way I hadn't seen before. "Why are you here?" I asked, struggling to keep my tone steady. "Because I can't let you go," she admitted. "I've made mistakes, yes, but leaving you, I thought it would make me understand what I feel. Instead, I realized I can't survive without you." Her words stabbed me with longing and fear. I wanted to pull her into my arms, to feel her heartbeat against mine. Yet the shadow of betrayal, the anonymous warning, the doubt, still clung to me. "I need to know the truth, Sophie," I said, voice tight. "Are you obsessed with me, or is this love?" She reached for my hand, her fingers trembling. "Is there a difference?" Her question hit me harder than I expected. I wanted to hate her, to push her away, but the storm inside me mirrored hers. Our hearts were entangled, our pain, our love, our obsession all weaving a dangerous tapestry I could no longer untangle. Hours passed in silence, the rain softening to a gentle drizzle. Finally, I let myself touch her hand, just a brush at first, and then she leaned into me, forehead resting against mine, tears mingling with raindrops. "I'm sorry, Ethan," she whispered, "for leaving, for hurting you, for everything." I closed my eyes, the tension, the anger, the betrayal slowly melting. "I'm sorry too," I murmured, "for doubting you, for letting fear win." Her lips met mine, hesitant at first, then with all the longing, regret, and love we'd held back for so long. The kiss was more than desire. It was an apology, a promise, and a spark of hope. When we finally pulled apart, rain-soaked and shivering, I realized something crucial. Obsession or not, love was worth fighting for. We weren't perfect. We were flawed, scared, and broken. But maybe that was what made us fit together. "I don't want to lose you again," she said softly, wrapping her arms around me. "You won't," I replied, holding her tightly. "Not this time." And for the first time in weeks, I felt peace. Morning light poured into the apartment, warm and golden, scattering shadows that had haunted us for weeks. I sat on the edge of the bed, watching Sophie move about the room with quiet grace. The tension that once clung to us like a storm now dissolved into a fragile serenity. "You're up early," I said, my voice soft, almost afraid to disturb this fragile peace. She turned, smiling, hair falling in gentle waves over her shoulders. "I wanted to see the sunrise with you," she replied, stepping closer. Her eyes, once cold and distant, now shimmered with something tender, alive, and real. We walked to the rooftop, the city still wrapped in the hush of dawn. The sky was a canvas of golds and pinks, the wind carrying the faint scent of rain from last night. I took her hand in mine, holding it gently. "Sophie," I whispered, "I don't know if I can put everything we went through into words." She smiled, leaning her head against my shoulder. "We don't need words, Ethan. We just need this, us." Her honesty, her vulnerability struck me deeply. Every betrayal, every doubt, every tear we had shared had led us here, to this fragile yet unbreakable moment of truth. We stood in silence for a long while, letting the sunrise wash over us. The city seemed quieter, softer, as if it, too, were honoring the fragile peace we'd earned. Then she spoke again, voice trembling but certain. "I was obsessed with you because I loved you, but now I see it differently. I see that love isn't possession. It's trust. It's patience. It's being willing to stand beside someone even when they push you away." I nodded, squeezing her hand. "And I see now that running from love only makes it stronger. You taught me that even through all the pain." She turned to face me fully, eyes glistening with emotion. "Ethan, can we really start over?" I smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Yes, we start over, not as the Ice Queen and the man who walked away, but as two people who finally know what they mean to each other. Her lips met mine, soft and tender, the kind of kiss that didn't need to say anything because it said everything. No obsession, no doubt, just love that had been tested and survived. The sun fully rose, bathing the city and us in golden light. I held her close, feeling the weight of the past lift from my shoulders. For the first time in what felt like forever, I knew peace. And this time goodbye was truly behind us.